Alonzo. Josiah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
You got a pretty cool beard going. Is that a quarantine beard or is that your look all the time?
No, this is quarantine. Well, the last time I shaved it was probably in the beginning of basketball season when the coach said that I couldn't have a beard. And
Uh,
then at one point I was like, I'm just gonna let it grow. I mean, it's growing pretty good right now, big, but I mean,
yep,
it's something. So I don't want to shave it. I don't want to.
definitely. So you have a quarantine beard. I know a lot of people say they have quarantine hair because we weren't able to get out and get haircuts and whatnot. But how have you been over these last couple months? I'm sure as a senior, it was pretty stressful and a lot of uncertainty with graduation, wrapping up school, and doing it all from home.
It's been something different. I mean, I think as us seniors, we look forward to a lot of things at the end of the year. A lot of the end of the year, like celebrations and stuff. We knew that this was our year. This is our year that we could have done a lot of things. And well, with this virus, I mean, it had a lot of setbacks. But the fact that we get to see each other, I think, one more time before, leaving high school at our graduation, they gave us that opportunity. And I think we're blessed with that. Like a lot of other people, schools aren't blessed with it. So I think that was pretty great for us because we got one last ride. I mean, we didn't get to do the fun stuff, but I mean, graduation was at least something that we got to be able to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned you guys had a graduation, and I watched the process that they had all the different high schools there in McAllen at the stadium. What was it like for you guys having that kind of graduation with all the guidelines, and what made it different and unique?
It wasn't. I mean, I wouldn't say it was unique. It was frustrating kind of because like you can't talk to anyone. I mean, you could, but you're like 6 feet apart, and that wasn't as fun. Like you you had to. We couldn't talk a lot. We had to stay in our lines, but I mean, walking that stage to get a diploma. I mean, that was one thing we've been waiting for 12 years. So, I mean, it finally came true, and now we get to step in the real world.
Absolutely. And you went to McAllen Rowe High School, and I know the school district did a good job as far as you guys when it came to the virtual learning,
Mhm.
because everything kind of went downhill in March. How were you able to adjust to doing online classes? I know some kids struggled with it, some didn't.
Um, well, I'm not a school's important. It's really important, but I guess when I'm more of like a hands-on learner, more visual. So I
Mhm.
mean, I think online it was a lot easier though. Like teachers gave us a lot of slack. It was pretty easy. But I think like I'd rather go to school and learn physically than online because I get carried away really fast. Like I think a
Mhm.
lot of things distract and plus there's not much you can do instead of just being in the house with quarantine. So it's like I mean school was there, but it was really easy though. That was one thing that was great that they did for us. It was very easily like academic wise. It was like an assignment a week. So it was very good and they took care of us. So
What were some things that you did over your quarantine? Did you pick up on any hobbies?
hobbies, I just lifting. I did a lot of lifting and gained some size. My dad actually, he just recently, about a couple weeks, been training me and my younger sister and some of family relatives. So he's getting back. My sister's gonna be a senior, so we're kind of pushing her more.
Mhm.
And plus, I knew I needed to put size for this upcoming season to hopefully not go into the season as undersized again as sophomore year, like of Nicky High School.
So while we're on the topic, we're moving on to the topic of football. You have a football player here on our panel. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL. Just who's your favorite NFL team? Who do you follow?
The Raiders. I'm a big Raider fan.
And why the Raiders? Is it a family thing or?
It's a my dad. He from California, so I mean, he told me like I don't know. I just like the colors too, black and gold, black and silver. That's a very big thing, and they're a mean team. So I've always thought they were like a lot physical.
Who's your favorite NFL player right now?
Uh, right now, I would say Aaron Donald. That guy's a beast on the line, and he's huge and he pushes through anybody on that line.
Definitely. How about a Raider? Who's your favorite Raider?
Uh, it was Marshawn, but I think that's tough. I have a lot. I mean,
Are
the
you,
team in general.
Well, you guys took Jason Witten from us, so I was pretty upset when I saw Jason Witten leave to the Raiders. I thought it was really random.
Well, hey,
uh, real quick, Super Bowl prediction. I know we're only in July, but why not? Who's your pick to win the Super Bowl this year?
if I say the Raiders, people are gonna say no way, but I'll say the Raiders. Why not?
The Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, talking about your career at McAllen Rowe, you were a 3-year starter for Coach Bobby Flores and the Warriors. It's very rare. It's far few in between. We see a sophomore make the varsity, let alone make an impact on the varsity. You and your buddy Jonas were the two sophomores on that varsity squad. You had mentioned it was a senior laden squad. Going into your sophomore year after your freshman year, was it even a thought, a possibility of you making the varsity?
I thought it was. I thought it was a thought for me. I don't know if it was a thought for the coaches. It was just that our group of our class of 2020, we were very hard workers, and we knew that even when we were freshmen, we wouldn't scrimmage the JV live. We would scrimmage one of the top teams at the school because we had that competition. And I think I think when we just that off season going into our sophomore year is when they knew we were committed. Coach Flores knew we were committed, and he knew that our defensive coordinator, our offensive coordinator, he knew that we put the work in that we needed to put in. And I think that's why they gave us the opportunity. And the odds weren't in my favor either. There's a story behind that with Coach Flores. I mean, that was kind of I was undersized, and my defensive coordinator, he told Flores hey, we need Josiah middle linebacker, and I was only about maybe 160. I was at 5'7". I was very short, very small, and it was a senior group that year. And Flores, the first thing he said was, "Are you sure you want that guy there? Are you sure you can fill it in?" And I would hope to believe I proved them wrong. And Coach Flores, he's been a great coach ever since. Defensive coordinator has been a great coach. Offensive coordinators. I mean, we were surrounded by good coaches too. That was a big thing also.
Okay, yeah, I know Coach Tarantola. He's built quite the resume there as OC. I know when Coach Flores first got there, it seemed as if you guys keep taking the steps in the right direction as far as Warrior football goes. But keeping with your sophomore year, what was the conversation like when Coach Flores and his staff told you that you were going to be on the varsity?
It wasn't a talk. It was more as in here, put this jersey on. You're on the right side of the field. And when you're on the right side of the field, more likely you're on varsity. They say it's not, but I mean, I would think so. So they just said, put this jersey on. I mean, and you're going out at this time. And then, sure enough, Jonas and I think another player, we walked out and we got to practice with a varsity group, and it was different. It was a different speed, and I mean, that's how we found out we were on varsity.
And you make your varsity debut, first regular season game. Can you remember who you played?
We played Edinburgh High.
Okay. And what was that like? What was that like for you leading up to your first varsity game, varsity debut as just a sophomore?
It was nerve-wracking only because, again, you don't want to make a mistake with the senior class because it's they're gonna tell you something because you're young, But I always knew if I had a mistake, I mean, I own up to it and just take it. And then I think that game, it was cool because it was as bad as it sounds, I wanted to get the first hit or get hit first so I can know what it feels like to be hey, let's just get at it. Let's just play this game. And we ended up, I think, we won that game. I'm pretty sure we won that game. But it was a fun game because it was something new. And I guess when you hear your name on those speakers up there, I mean, that's the best part of it.
Was that your reality check, your wow moment where you maybe stopped for a second while you were playing and say, okay, this is real, I'm here at the varsity?
Oh, most definitely. It was, you knew, and when you tackled somebody, you knew that this is go time for the next few years. This is gonna be what you're here for. And I think that's one thing I loved. Whenever hearing my name, I knew that it was just, I had to live up to it. I have to play, I have to practice, I have to get ready for the rest of the season and the seasons after that.
How often would you switch? How often would you switch from offense and defense?
It wasn't often. It was more as in I would think to believe I had some good hands. I was good with the ball, but I was more as a blocking receiver. So I was more as in if they needed like the extra yards. I mean, I was in there to step in to block. I mean, here and there I had some catches, but it wasn't really often, only because I was on the field with defense a lot. And I think when offense on the field, I have to go to the defensive sideline so we can know the plays. And like, since I have to call the plays, like I have to be there in that circle. If not, I get chewed out by the defensive coordinator for not being there. And it's not even my fault, but
Right.
that's why I was hardly on the offensive side. But when I was, it was more like a blocking scheme.
And talking about District 36A, there's really no more. There is no more 36A realistically when you look at it, because now the McAllens moved down to the 5As, and the rest of the La Jolla slid over to 31-6A, and then of course Palm View was already in 5A. But what did you think when you saw that your buddies are now going to be in 5A?
I told them they better tear it up. If anything, I think Jonas, Derek, all of us, I think we would have all wanted to be in that district, because we knew that there's some top players in that division too, and we knew. Can you hear me? You good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, we knew that district. I mean, there's some heavy people in there. So, if anything, we wish we could have got a redemption at Westlaco East, man. That was. I mean, they're a good football squad. I mean, they're disciplined, and I think if we would have had a shot at them one more time, it would have been we could have prepared more. We could have prepared more for them, and we got things down.
Talking about opponents and districts, who was the bigger rival? Was it Mackay or was it McAllen Memorial, or was it a little bit of both?
It was both, but I think we knew. I mean, we knew that we could take care of Mackay. Like, we knew that it was something that we could do, but we always wanted Memorial. Like, we always knew that Memorial, we haven't taken them down in years. And I mean, my junior year, we lost, I think, by 3 points, and that was to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So when we were playing them this past year, if we didn't beat them, we weren't going to make the playoffs. But everything like fell into a good triangle, and we ended up making it. But I mean, I think Memorial, my junior year and senior year, we wanted them, but they just pulled away our senior year. I mean, but our biggest rivalry, I would say, Memorial. I mean, Mackay was a good team to play, but we're focused on a lot of teams, but I think mainly Memorial. That we knew it was a ground and pound team. So.
And as a middle linebacker, talking about McAllen Memorial, how tough was it going against Campbell Spates?
It was fun. Yeah, he's fat. I don't know if y'all know this, but I went to elementary with him. We played soccer on the same team. We played, he was one of my best friends. We talent shows, until I moved to another elementary. Yeah, we had the talent show at Gonzalez Elementary. So I mean, I knew him. Playing against him, he's a physical athlete. I knew when I tackled him or whenever he'd make a good run. I mean, we'd smile at each other, we laughed, because it was. I mean, he's a very competitive player. Like, he's one of those guys that you want to go against because it gives you a good game. And he really pushed through our team. He tore it up on us. He had like about 4 touchdowns maybe, but I mean, he did good. I mean, it was fun playing against him because you don't come across a lot of running backs like him. And right. I mean, you can only compare him and Eddie Villarreal from La Jolla, but at the same time, like, it was more Campbell. Just he would push through a lot of people, and it was how. That's your thing. How? Why can't we wrap him up? Why? And he was a good player. He was a good fun player to play against too.
You got me engaged on this talent show thing. You guys were in the talent show together?
Yeah, we were in the talent show, and about, I think, maybe 3rd grade, maybe around there. We were in the talent show at Gonzalez Elementary, and I remember we if you ask him, I think he knows that we danced to the Superman, the Soldier Boy one.
Oh boy!
And, yeah, it was me, him, and a friend of ours named Mario, I think. And it was a long time ago, but I mean, I grew up with him. We always played Pop Warner against each other. He was a fun guy to hang out with. I would hang out with him a lot, but I think when I moved schools, we went our own ways. But we always knew each other. Our family knew each other, and it was fun.
So, being that close to Campbell, you definitely saw Trevor growing up playing ball.
Yeah. Trevor was always around us too. Whenever we'd go over to each other's houses, he was there. And that guy's a funny dude. That guy's funny. We had a lot of stories, I would say, but I mean, he was a good role model for Campbell, I bet too, because Campbell's heading up there too. And I think he was around my brother's age too. So I mean, for Campbell to be around an older brother and for I to be around an older brother, I think we had goals. We wanted to always be better than our brothers, I would say. And
Yep.
I mean, it was fun having them around, Campbell and Trevor, and the parents too. They're fun parents too.
Definitely. That's good stuff. Talking about your senior year, you guys go out there and you guys win a playoff game. You had mentioned that you guys were kind of in limbo if you were going to make the playoffs or not. You guys make it, win a playoff game. What was that like, not just for you as a senior, reaching the playoffs, winning a playoff game, and really setting the bar for the guys coming behind you?
We've always told them that anything is possible if you put our mind to it. And when we played Laredo Alexander, we lost to them our sophomore year. We got killed by them, and we knew that we could take them. I mean, they had a strong wideout, I think, that was hurt that game. So I mean, that helped us out a lot too. But one thing that I can tell the young bucks, that are coming in, if they play them or anybody, it's like it's a team effort. When we played in that first round, it wasn't just one person. We all grinded. The guys that were sophomores or juniors on our team, like they stepped up to fill the role in that playoff game. And when we won, it was something crazy because we've never been to second round in football in a while. And to have Coach Flores there, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's proud of us a lot because, I mean, we had a special group of athletes in the class of 2020.
You mentioned your dad was your coach growing up. What was that like for you, being able to have your dad in your corner throughout your career?
It was fun. I mean, I remember when in elementary and middle school, I don't think boys club football is there anymore, but I recommend that they bring it back because my dad coached me from boys club football to Pop Warner, and then we did good in both of those. But when I reached the middle school, he was at that point he was at Ben Milam Elementary, and then I was at Foster my 6th grade year, and then he got a job at Lincoln Middle School. So I've always loved my dad. I mean, I go with him anywhere if he needs me. So I made that move from Foster Middle School to Lincoln Middle School in my 7th and 8th grade year, and he coached me those 2 years. We did good there as well, and then I was at high school, and then he recently, about 2-3 years ago, he's at Cathy Middle School now. Okay. So, I mean, he's there. I mean, and it was fun having him. I mean, it wasn't the easiest. It was more, he expected a lot more from me, but it all turned out to be like what we planned. I mean, playing college ball is what I've always wanted to go to, and he's prepared me. To this day, he's still training me, and having him by my side. And it goes for all my family, though, too. I have a lot of support from them and my cousins as well. I mean, during this whole pandemic, I mean, it's been fun with everybody and getting ready for everything. It feels like my dad didn't even leave schools because I still have him here.
Definitely. Talking about now your future at Sul Ross, when did they come on your radar? When did they reach out to you?
I would say it was after our senior year. It was senior year. We had reached out, or the coach had reached out to me as well. Like Coach McMurray, the defensive coordinator at Sul Ross State University. It was something new when my defensive coordinator told me, because he was saying like it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's a great place to learn, And right away when I got in contact with the defensive coordinator, his responses weren't days. Like it was very like minute wise, hour wise. Like he was very repetitive. Like he was always there texting me, hey, like this and that. And then he scheduled me an official visit over there. So I think that was pretty fun. I mean, having my first college visit over there, I mean, that was something different and something I was looking forward to. And then when I got there, you're driving in the middle of nowhere between like deserts over there. So, I mean, You're passing mountains, but when you get there, it's like, it's a new fresh start. You're starting new over there, and you're in the middle of nowhere. So it's only school and football. It's all you have to focus on, no extra stuff. And I mean, I think when I went for that visit, I saw a lot of things that I was like, hey, like this is going to fit me good. And leaving home, I mean, I'm going to leave all my family behind, but they know when Thanksgiving comes, I'm going to be here eating more than them. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Definitely. Yeah, Sul Ross, I know a couple of Valley athletes that are up there playing different sports, and they mentioned that it's a small town. Are you ready to adjust to the small town life opposed to McAllen? Because there's not going to be an Outlets or the Plaza Mall or anything like that. I mean, if anything, they may have one Whataburger in town.
Hmm.
But what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge from moving from high school to college?
The biggest challenge is, I think, adjusting to a lot of things. I think only because it's a new world pretty much over there. You're by yourself. Your family's not there. Your relatives not there. You don't have like the support you have here over there. I mean, you have them like on the phone and stuff, but they're not gonna be there. I think that's gonna be the toughest thing. But I've always wanted to go somewhere to play football. That's always been my goal. And if it's somewhere that I only had one opportunity to go over there, I mean, I take it because I'm not one to not make friends. I'm a talkative person. I talk a lot. I mean, I'm very communicative, and I'm not I'm very out there. So I think that'll benefit me. But I think the biggest thing is not being close to my family over there.
As far as the football field goes, do you plan on playing linebacker or maybe taking on an offensive role, or what's your plan?
Of course, anywhere where they need me, that's one thing. But I know when I went for the visit, they had told me that I would be moving to outside linebacker over there.
Okay.
So I mean, and I played that in my middle school. So I mean, that gives me some, some visual of what I'm doing over there.
Right. And what do you plan on majoring in?
Criminal justice. I want to go into the criminal justice field.
Definitely. Before we wrap up everything, any shout outs or any shout outs you want to give to your family or any friends that may be watching?
Yeah, my friends, Jaime, Israel, you guys, Eddie, you guys are my one and only. Y'all my homies. No matter what, y'all are crazy. My girlfriend Desiree, if you're watching this, hello. You too. You're very supportive a lot. And then my mom, if you're watching this, I know you're at work watching this, but I mean, without you, I wouldn't be here. Dad, he's fine in the other room, probably watching it right now too. But thank you. My cousins, Cassie, Elisa. I mean, you guys playing cards with me during this whole quarantine, man. You guys are just friends. You guys are my family. I love you guys, my uncles, everybody who's around me. I love all you guys, and I thank you guys for just pushing me to be the athlete and person I am today.
Definitely. Well, Josiah, thanks for making the time, and thanks for reaching out and you wanted to be on the show. It was a pleasure having you, and we're glad you're able to cut some time out of your schedule and join us.
Yes, I appreciate it for having me on this thing.
Definitely. Well, Josiah Alonzo, everybody, former McAllen Rowe Warrior. He's going to be heading up to Sul State University this fall to be playing some football up there out in West Texas. So again, Josiah, thanks for joining us. Stay healthy, stay safe during these times, and hopefully in a couple months you'll be up at Alpine and getting ready to play some football.
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
Thank you. We'll see